Hey there and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the Functional Trainer Narrow Squat. This is an incredible exercise for your quadriceps and is going to really help isolate the quadriceps as much as possible during a squat. First thing you're going to want to do is set up your cable all the way down to the bottom. Let me just show you. I'm just showing you guys how to move it. And then the next thing you want to do is you move your rotation arm, I would say to a 1. That way you're inside the machine and not in the middle of the gym floor. And then you want to choose the appropriate weight. You could go a little bit heavier with these exercises, but just make sure that you can do 20 repetitions comfortably and then slowly start to increase the weight. Once you have that set up, what you're going to do is take a nice little step forward. Actually, you want to be right over the cable, so it's pulling you directly down and not forward. Then what you want to do is keep your feet close together, only a few inches apart. You want to make sure that you're as close as possible without having to lose your balance. But before we continue with more tips, here's a word from today's video sponsor.
I'm today's video sponsor, and if you'd like help losing fat or gaining muscle, there are a few ways I can help you down below. Either set up a free consultation with us, purchase through one of our free affiliate links, or purchase one of our instant access affordable training programs. Can't wait to be of service to you. Now let's get back to the rest of the video.
So you basically just want to make sure, like I said, that your feet are inside shoulder width, your chest is nice and high, and that you're bending with both your knees as much as possible, as well as your hips. So if your knees go over your toes, it's not a problem. Just make sure that your heels stay down. That's going to be the biggest determinant on whether or not you can do this exercise. And if your heels do come up, then you do suffer from some ankle mobility or knee mobility. So what I recommend, that if you can't do it just perfectly like this, I wouldn't even really do it. But if you're like really committed and you really want to do it, then just put some, like, raise your heels about an inch or two and keep your body as upright as possible, and then you should be able to do it pretty comfortably. Now with that said, the other thing I want you guys to think about is making sure that that handle is right underneath your chin. That's why you have to stay close to the machine and keep that high. Keep your elbows forward as well, because if not, then the cable is going to start pushing you forward. It's going to start pulling you forward, sorry. Also make sure that you keep your chin tucked, because if you're going to start looking up too high, then it's going to start putting an unnecessary amount of stress on your lower back. Another key thing that I didn't mention before was making sure that you push your hips back when you do this. So you don't want to just try to keep your torso upright. That's impossible. Like, you can't just keep your torso completely upright when you're doing a squat, but you want to keep it as upright as possible. So if you know your lower back starts to round a little bit at the bottom, that's not horrible, but you want to make sure that you at least stretch your hamstrings. That'll take that away. Another key thing that I want you guys to think about is making sure that you're keeping your core tight and that you're doing it in a slow and controlled fashion. I highly recommend that you do this properly, because if not, you're going to start suffering from knee pain if you start using too much weight and you're using a bunch of momentum. So here's some common mistakes. Allowing your knees to come together. You don't want your knees coming together. You want your knees over your toes. So don't let your knees touch when you're doing this variation. Another common mistake is having the cable too low. Like I said, you want it under your chin, and then you want to make sure that you drive your elbows forward. And like I said before, if your heels come up, that's not good. You're doing it incorrectly. Stop doing it and make sure that you fix the underlying issues and make sure you do it correctly. Also, like I said, make sure that your torso stays upright. Do not bend over like this and put unnecessary strain on your lower back.